So, Stuart, in the technological world that we live in,
Mm-hmm.
so we're talking a lot about audio gear or instruments or whatever. Is there such thing as too cheap when it comes to gear?
There's nothing too cheap.
So if I can just find it as cheap as possible on Amazon, it's good to go.
You know, you Google LED wall, and for $10,000, it can be dropped off, and poof, that week you'll have
and
a
all
big
your dreams
ol-
will come true.
All your dreams will come true. The magical unicorns will pop out of the screen, and everything will be good
The
to
short
go.
answer is there is a such thing as too cheap, but it's not like a industry standard rule.
No.
Like too cheap is different, I think, in each world.
I think it depends. Like you know, if we're talking in-ear monitors,
Oh yeah.
then yes, you can Amazon things and get things, and sure, it might be great if you're walking around the house listening
Yep.
to your music and you want to be wireless.
Yep.
You know, sure, but as soon as you try to bring that onto a stage, and I think the only way to really, I don't know how to explain this well. When you're playing uncompressed live music with musicians, that's a totally different type of experience than just walking around listening to music.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there's different, depending on what the topic is, there's definitely a too cheap realm.
Well, and as church people, you're constantly being advertised to.
Yes.
It's so weird, but there's these companies. There's even some upstart companies whose like sole product is only sold to churches, and I tend to be a little leery of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why in-ears came to mind, but when you first brought up in-ears, I remember there was some company that like came up with some way that you could run all the in-ears through a MacBook and send it to your phone.
Yeah, I remember that too. Like a phone. Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
That's like it's a cool idea. I don't want to knock innovation. I'm glad there's people out there innovating.
I don't think it went anywhere because it
wasn't functional.
Yeah.
No, I did know. I ran into a church one time that told me they used it for a little while and they stopped using it because it wasn't functional. Mm-hmm. And those are the questions we are always asking people. Listen, we can design systems at very affordable prices.
Yeah.
A lot of times we do that by using tried and true used gear.
Mm-hmm.
Used gear is not a dirty word. It's actually really, it's how your church could probably afford things that you normally couldn't afford.
Sure.
But the caveat to used gear is you have to know what you're doing.
Yes.
And so like when you're working with a professional audio company, we can sell you used gear that we absolutely know is going to work the way we need it to work and probably better than the new stuff. Mm-hmm. But you need to be careful of these companies that are building these kind of kitschy products just for the house of worship because they haven't been usually tested on a large scale. Mm-hmm. They're not what we would call tour grade or tour quality. Mm-hmm. And so we just don't know if they're going to work every week. And a lot of times, I think about usability too. How easy is this thing to use? Think about digital consoles. Almost every digital console has a phone app where each person can control their monitors. Cool. They are not all created equal.
No.
I have used some that were the most dumb, unintuitive. As a musician, it made no sense to me.
Yes.
How to mix my monitor. It was frustrating. I didn't even want to mix it.
Yes.
And then some I've used are the most easy, user-friendly. Mm-hmm. That's important to me, right? So like when I'm researching a digital console for a church, I think to myself, what if they want to mix their own monitors? How easy will that be for them? That goes for every piece of gear that you might want to buy in your church.